Welcome to part 9 of your cyber coaching with me, Reade. Today we're on core stability and abdominals. What happened to our midfield was an article we wrote in 2012 for the Goalkeeper magazine. Now I was lucky enough to write 9 articles for these guys from anywhere between tennis balls and core stability. So what is core stability? Well, it's our development of our muscles of our trunk. It's the support of our inner muscles to the lumbar spine. It's the stabilization of the body towards motion, and it's also helping posture and balance and the reduction of injuries. So what muscles are found within the core itself? Well, firstly, a massive thank you must go to Ball Bags Underwear for sending me some cul-de-sacs to cover this man's modesty. For those that don't know Ball Bags, they're a company that develops different types of boxes for both sports and normal wear, but they also cover charities. So for every time you buy something, percentages of what you buy go to charity. For instance, currently they're covering Teenage Cancer Trust and medical detection dogs. So what muscles do we have within the actual core itself? Well, some of them I can't show you because they're too deep within the actual body itself. So all the pictures are on the way to you now. We have the pelvic floor muscle, which will be on one of the pictures. We've got the transverse abdominal, which is the muscle around the side here. We have the multifidus. We have internal and external obliques, with the internals being down lower, the externals being up higher. The rectus abdominals are the area up here in the trunk that keep the spine solid and tight. We have the erecti spinae, which is the massive muscle that runs from the top part of the shoulder all the way down towards the glutes. Now it covers literally all the areas here shown in blue at the back. We have the longissimus, we have the transverse thoracis, and also the diaphragm, which can all be found. What kit needed today? Well, as you can see behind me, there's quite a little bit of an array of equipment used today. So a little bit of improvisation may be needed in the next 5-10 minutes. To give you a few different ideas, when we're using the Bosu, a large pillow folded over will give the same effect. When using the core stability ball, a large step, a sofa, or anything you can go into a plank shape higher off the ground on will work. The stability disc, any of the two on the far left, or a very small pillow, again folded over. If you haven't got one of those, a foam roller would be absolutely perfect for that one. And we also need a football. We're going to do 3 times 5-minute core workouts for you guys today, keeping in the same format as my website, thekeeper.co.uk. We're going to cover basic, intermediate and advanced workouts. So press pause, go and get your improvisations going and go grab the kit you need. See you back here in 2. So the pelvic tilt. This one helps us stretch out those back muscles and really gets in deep to our abdominal cortex to really understand where it is we have to contract as we're looking to do those abdominal exercises. So what you're going to do is feet dead flat on the floor, knees bent, shoulders back, head on the ground. If you put your hands to where your obliques are, transfer your backside up and just slightly rock back on it. So as you're then pushing your obliques to the ground, you're looking to breathe fully out, hold, and then come back in. You should really feel the contraction of your obliques in these areas here to your actual fingers as you're doing this motion. remember, there's no rush to these exercises. The slower you go, the more you're actually going to work your abdominals. There's no prizes for speed when it comes to abs. So, then we're going to do a crunch with the football. What we're going to do is we're going to have the football in between our feet. Our feet are going to stabilise on the ground. Our hands are either going to go on our shoulders or on our temples. Never put it behind your neck, because that's when you're starting to rip that neck to come forwards and you're taking yourself out of the neutral spine. So I prefer it up here, because you could also then go for a catch of the ball at the same time. But all I'm going to do is go down and slowly exhale as I come out. So inhale. Nice slow movements, keeping the feet as flat to the ground as you can and the ball control on the floor. Nice slow repetitions. Now with the abdominal work, as you probably can tell, today I'm not actually counting. The reason I'm not counting, I'm going to continue to do the exercise till it starts hurting within my actual abdominal cortex. When it starts to hurt, I know it's working. So the abdominals are then finding that area where they can't go any further. So moving on to the oblique crunch and twist. If you take the ball away for a second out of your feet, you're going to have your feet up, or if you can't have them up for now, leave them on the ground to go down, come up to twist will be absolutely fine. If you want to make it a little bit more advanced, you can have the feet up and it can be a twist through. So I'm going to work off of both of those so you guys can see the two different options. The first one, feet flat on the floor, knees up. I'm again breathing out and breathing in to drive. So it's nice controlled motions, but remember that twist at the top. So it's all the way down, breathing out to come to the top to twist through. And the more advanced one, okay, how are you finding those at the moment? If you're going out to the football, we're going to do a reverse crunch. Now remember, this is only basic exercises we're currently doing. We're going to go on to the intermediate and advanced in a minute. So this one, feet are going to lock the ball. Have something behind you can hold on to. A sofa, a radiator, a door, even someone else's feet. All you're going to do is hold it tight, bring the feet off the ground, and a little push up. Now, some of you may not be able to hold the ball, so doing that exercise without the ball in your feet will be absolutely fine. If you can't do the full L-shaped movement going all the way down to the floor, all the way back up, don't stress, don't worry about it. do whatever parts of it you can. So if you can only hold that L shape and just drive your backside off the ground, that's a perfect start. Just keep trying to improve it day by day. So you can start by just literally having the feet off the ground and just a gentle push up. And then the one on low, hands, and just keep your feet low. Just gentle movements up. So that's our intermediate core stability. What we've got to start with in front of us is the Bosu. Now I've got it on its normal axis rather than upside down currently, because this is only intermediate sections. Now, as you can also see, I've got football in front, which is acting as my safe spot. To start with, I'm going to stand on it with 2 feet, and then I'm going to go to a single foot stance to work on my ankle stability. Before you do this exercise, make sure you've got your laces tied nicely. And just remember, if at any stage you can't do an exercise, don't overdo an exercise and don't move on to the next exercise until you've mastered the current one. Always keep yourself safe when doing these at home. So to start with, I'm going to stand on with my stronger foot. I'm then going to balance in with my weaker foot. And all we're going to do is hold a set stance. Once you get comfortable with that, you can do things like squats. You could possibly even catch a ball given to you at a very light pace, probably from a thrown feed from about 3 or 4 yards. I can start to look out to the different angles where my hands are. Now remember, it's all contracting in here like we did in that first exercise in the basics. Again, your safe spot can be anywhere in the room you want. Now, to start with, I would recommend putting a safe spot close to you, but as you can probably see, I can quite comfortably look at the camera these days and just focus in on that as my safe spot. After you've gotten very good at that and getting a couple of squats in, maybe a few head side squats, so you're transferring the actual body weight in a different area, come back off the Bosu and plant 1 foot on and just look to hold. Remember, your breathing as you're doing it all. When you become solid at that one, you could possibly even bring your leg up like you would do when claiming across. Once we've done one side, we're always going to move on to that next. Try and make the first one as good as your second. Now, whilst you're doing core stability, a couple of areas, if you're struggling for that balance, it will sound strange, but hold your ear or stick out your tongue. There are 2 balancing areas that can help when doing these exercises. Now, I would suggest holding your ear more than sticking out your tongue, because obviously you could bite your tongue off. And obviously, as you get used to that, you become stronger at it, you won't have to utilize those different mechanisms. So getting rid of the Bosu now. Bringing out the core stability ball. All I want you to do is plant your shins just behind the ball and roll forwards onto it, keeping your hands and your knees on the ball. So you've got 4 points of contact at the moment. All I want you to do is just get comfortable on top of that core ball. Just get used to the movements it's going to do. Now, this may take 2-3 days. This may take a couple of minutes. When you become comfortable on it, come up, hold your abdominals tight, and hold that set stance for me. And all you're looking to do is breathe and concentrate on your balance. Now, I'm only going to show this for about 10 seconds because I don't want the video going on miles throughout it all. But once you get to this point here, you could possibly again look out wide, make sure you're rebalancing and getting your actual stability there when necessary. Now, with this one, the first thing to look out for is that you've got a good core stability ball. If you've got a poor ball, I wouldn't trust putting body weight on top of it. So make sure you've got a solid ball you're using at home. Next one, very hard exercise this one, we're going to use the actual feet for the stability, and we're going to pull the knees forwards into the chest. So we're working the lower abs this time and really contracting through. So to start with, you need to be able to do a press up shape. So what I'm going to do is hold that there, and all I'm going to do is walk the ball in to touch the knees to the chest. Now I'm looking to do this 20 or so times. 2, 3. Remembering the neutral spine and remembering that solid, contracted technique. Remember, it's not a rush. Make sure you're feeling it. Now, if you get really good at that one, you can put it onto your actual toes to hold that stability as well. And then you can walk it forwards. Once you've done that, come up, just stretch off the abdominals, and what we're going to do, move the core ball away, and we're going to go on to a full spider plank. Now, spider plank is where you're basically holding a star shape on the floor itself. All right, and we're going to hold for 20 seconds. So, ready, set, go. 2, 3. So on to advanced core stability. Now, when you're trying these, just be cautious. If you've struggled with any of the previous ones, probably look to come back to doing something like this in a couple of weeks' time. Get yourself fully prepared prior to going on to these 4 exercises. So the first one we're going to use is we're going to use the core ball again, but we're going to do a plank on it, and we're going to do it both with our arms and our legs. So we've got an inverted and a declined plank. So the first one, have the ball out in front of you, put your arms on like the plank shape, keeping your lower part of your body in that neutral spine. Once you get your balance, what I want you to do is have a little roll around on that ball. Take your abdominals off of their neutral area and really force them to work. So you're going left, you're going right, little tiny round motions, bigger motions, little jagged motions if you can. Keeping your abdominals as tight as you can during that motion. And remembering your breathing patterns. Once you've done 20 or so seconds of that, what I then want you to do, arms down on the ground in that plank shape. Toes should now be able to be on top of that ball, and you're going to hold that shape there. Now, I'm going to slightly move left and right with my feet, causing my obliques to have to lock the actual ball in its neutral area, keeping the core as tight as I can, keeping that neutral spine as locked as physically possible, and we're just going to hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, if I just put the ball to the side for 2 seconds, I'm going to bring out the Bosu again. Now, with this one, I'm looking at planting my foot there and my foot there. So they're the 2 areas I'm looking at when performing this exercise. What we're going to do is we're going to jump, land on the Bosu, gain our balance, then squat, and then jump off towards the camera. So All it's going to be is I'm going to balance myself. 3, 2, 1. Stabilise onto the Bosu. Nice quality squat. And then a jump off, making sure I bend my knees. Walk back round to the back of the Bosu. 3, 2, plant both feet, get myself fully balanced. All the way down. Drive off, land softly. One, 2, 3. Nice deep squats as I'm doing it. Just going to demo that 2 more times. And last one. So that's just a little bit squat movement whilst landing your core stability on that Bosu. So let's get the Bosu out for now. Let's bring a few side planks in. So what we can do is you're going to set up with your arm on the Bosu, feet out as far as you can. Use the ball to get you up. Now tighten your lower obliques and you're going to take the ball up high, bring it all the way down, all the way back up, all the way down, all the way back up, all the way down, all the way back up. Now, if you find yourself struggling with that one, just hold that safe spot for that little couple of seconds. And then when you're fatigued, drop your obliques. And again, utilising both sides. So taking the Bosu out the other way. Legs out fully. Arm locked in. Hand on the ball. Now you notice I used my tongue there as that stability device, just to really lock it in. And again, drop down to that ground. And we're going to take the Bosu away this time. Bring the core ball back up. You might need a partner to help you with this one because you're going to hold the same one we did in intermediate on top of the core ball. You're going to hold in a W and a scoop. To start with, because I haven't got the feeder, I'm going to leave the ball down. I'm going to get myself on and balanced. Then I'm going to use the ball, bring myself up to the top. Get myself that safe spot. And now transfer my eyes to the ball. Focus entirely on your breathing. So now it's your lower body having to do the work rather than your arms causing the balance. Once you get comfortable with that one, regain your safe spot. Trap that ball into your scoop. And then change your safe spot to the ball. If you get really good at those, you may want to change out to a few different exercises for argument's sake. This one where I can even close. So our cyber points. All the points are back to 0 for this month. You can pick up the first 30, yes, 30 cyber coaching points on today's task. Make sure you stay safe whilst doing it, but I want the picture of your best plank. So it can be the background that makes it the best, it can be how you're doing it, it can be the quality of what you're doing, it could be the gloves you're wearing, the clothes you're wearing, but send them through to me. You've got till Friday to post these for 30 cyber coaching points. Again, thank you all for viewing today.